Well, you may be used to the mainstream media tossing softball questions to the Biden administration, but when it comes to Press Secretary Jen Psaki, they may have added motivation here. Check out this headline. It says, "Is Jen Psaki the next Rachel Maddow?" Biden's spokesperson, who plans to leave the White House this year, is being fervently courted by CNN and MSNBC, among others, and Psaki has ambitions of becoming a marquee star. Well, joining us to discuss is today's company, former FBI agent, Navy SEAL, and author of Sheep No More, Johnathan Gilliam, and retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant, Trump 2020 veteran for Trump co-chair, and Newsmax contributor Jessie Jane Duff. Welcome to the show to both of you.
Good afternoon.
You know, Johnathan, I will start with you. You know, it's not odd for a White House press secretary, Republican or Democrat, to end up on TV. Look at where I am. But I think what's odd about this situation is, A, we're on the brink of war. B, Jen's sitting there with her agent as still briefing. She hasn't announced she's leaving the White House yet, and she's having these executives, the heads of these networks, fly in to meet with her and her agent as she's then going on to a briefing where she's taking questions from their correspondents. I think that's a huge conflict of interest. She's basically making sure, I mean, she's taking questions from people that will eventually be her colleagues and right now are going to potentially offer her a job.
Right, but it doesn't matter who Biden puts up in that position. The same thing is going to occur. I mean, that's where he's going to pull people from, who's loyal to him. I mean, the difference, there's a lot of difference between when you were there in that position and Jen Psaki. Trump's presidency was a success all the way through, and you were defending him in a hostile environment. Jen Psaki, you know, she is no different than the mainstream media. She is a part of them. They work hand in hand together, and I think you've seen that. You know that how they are with her versus how they were with you. And I think, you know, people need to realize that.
Yeah, I mean,
from her perspective, right now,
there's no question. I mean, the difference in the tone and the nature of the questions. But Jessie Jane, the thing that I think is interesting is if you're an NBC correspondent or if you're a CNN correspondent, you're sitting there asking somebody who's, you know, because you're reading this in the press, is potentially going to be one of your colleagues, and you've got to be careful how you calibrate your questions.
That's a wonderful example of a conflict of interest. And Jen Psaki actually is exceptional at what she does. And I want to clarify this very carefully. She's very convincing. I mean, I've never seen anybody be able to spin what is bad and make you think that it smells good. It's a pile of horse manure, and you now are convinced you got a full bouquet of roses. I have listened to her. She has a very strong ability to do the Democratic narrative. I'm not surprised that they're going to covet to have her on their networks because she makes them look good, even in the worst of situations. Yeah. But you're 150% right. How dare they come out and say, we want her to work for us, and have the American people not believe that there is any bias in the media. This should be something that should not even be disclosed. It should be something that when she leaves the White House, that is her opportunity to step forward on a news network.
Yeah, it is an interesting perspective here, Johnathan, that these people might be concerned what kind of questions they're asking or hold back a little bit more than they already do. And we already see them holding back all the time. Sometimes they'll ask a tough question, but they won't really follow up with a tougher question. And so this only gives them more reason to do so.
You know, and I also think when we look at this, yes, you're right. They don't follow up with the tough questions, but the bad answers never get reported. Right. So they never get pushed through the echo chamber of mainstream media. And to be honest with you, I think she's pretty smart right now entertaining these things to get out of there, because there's no way that this presidency is going to get any better. So for her jumping out now while she still has some face, I guess is probably a good deal on her part.
Johnathan, Jessie Jane, thanks for being here. Always appreciate your time.
You got it.
Thank you.